Holy endurance teaches me to stand firm in every season. For the one who endures to the end shall be saved. Matthew 24, verse 13. And endurance becomes a quiet strength that carries me when my own strength fades. When I feel weary, God reminds me that those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. Isaiah 40, verse 31. And his renewal rises within me like a steady flame that cannot be extinguished. Holy endurance is not loud or dramatic. It is the calm resolve that grows from trusting his faithfulness, because the Lord is faithful. He will strengthen you and guard you, 2 Thessalonians 3, verse 3. And his protection surrounds me even when I cannot see it. When I face trials that feel too heavy, his word steadies my heart. For my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9. And his strength becomes a foundation beneath my feet. Holy endurance teaches me to keep walking even when the path feels long, because the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, Psalm 37, verse 23, and every step I take is guided by his hand. When I feel pressed on every side, his promise holds me, for we are hard pressed, yet not crushed, 2 Corinthians 4, verse 8, and his endurance keeps me standing. Holy endurance reminds me that perseverance is holy. For let us not grow weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Galatians 6, verse 9. And the harvest he prepares is worth every moment of endurance. When fear tries to weaken my resolve, he strengthens my spirit, because God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind, 2 Timothy 1, verse 7. And his courage rises within me. Holy endurance teaches me to hold fast to hope. For we have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. Hebrews 6, verse 19. And his hope keeps me steady when everything around me shifts. When I feel alone in the struggle, he reminds me that I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews 13, verse 5. And his presence becomes my endurance. Holy endurance is a quiet strength that grows in the unseen places. For the testing of your faith produces endurance, James 1, verse 3. And endurance shapes me into someone who can carry his purpose. When the journey feels uphill, he walks beside me, because the Lord is my strength and my shield, Psalm 28, verse 7. And his strength becomes my forward motion. Holy endurance teaches me to trust his timing. He makes all things beautiful in his time. Ecclesiastes 3, verse 11. And his timing never fails. When I feel stretched beyond my limits, he reminds me that with God all things are possible. Matthew 19, verse 26. His power completes what I cannot. Holy endurance is a holy fire that keeps burning, the steady resolve that keeps moving, and the quiet faith that keeps believing. For he who began a good work and he will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. Philippians 1, verse 6. And his work in me will never stop. Holy endurance reminds me that God strengthens me in every hidden place, even when I feel stretched beyond what I can carry. For the Lord is the strength of my life, Psalm 27, verse 1. And his strength rises within me when mine runs low. When the path feels long and the weight feels heavy, he teaches me to keep moving, because the righteous shall hold their way, and he who has clean hands shall grow stronger and stronger, Job 17, verse 9. And endurance becomes a quiet growth that happens step by step. Holy endurance teaches me that perseverance is not about speed, but about faithfulness. For by your patience you will gain your souls, Luke 21, verse 19. And patience becomes a holy rhythm that keeps me steady. When discouragement tries to settle in, he lifts my spirit, because he gives power to the faint, and to him who has no might he increases strength, Isaiah 40, verse 29. And his increase becomes a fuel that keeps me pressing forward. Holy endurance reminds me that every trial has purpose. For after you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace, will himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you. 1 Peter 5, verse 10. And his restoration is already forming beneath the surface. When I feel tempted to give up, he steadies my heart, because the Lord upholds all who fall and lifts up all who are bowed down. Psalm 145, verse 14. And his lifting becomes a quiet miracle that keeps me standing. Holy endurance teaches me to trust his process, for we glory in tribulations, knowing that tribulation produces endurance. Romans 5, verse 3. And endurance produces a character he is shaping within me. When fear whispers I cannot make it, he answers with courage. Because be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God goes with you. Deuteronomy 31, verse 6. And his presence becomes my endurance. Holy endurance is a holy strength that grows in silence, the steady resolve that rises in weakness, and the quiet faith that refuses to quit. For the Lord will perfect that which concerns me. Psalm 138, verse 8. And a perfecting work will carry me all the way through. Holy endurance reminds me that God finishes what he starts, even when the journey feels slow. For he gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Isaiah 40, verse 29. And his increase becomes a quiet force that keeps me moving. When I feel stretched beyond my limits, he steadies my heart, because the Lord is my rock and my fortress. Psalm 18, verse 2. And his stability becomes my endurance. Holy endurance teaches me that every step matters, even the small ones, for your labor in the Lord is not in vain. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 58. And he sees every moment I choose to keep going. When doubt tries to rise, he answers with peace, because the Lord will give strength to his people. The Lord will bless his people with peace. Psalm 29, verse 11. And his peace becomes a strength beneath my feet. Holy endurance is a holy resolve that refuses to quit, a quiet courage that keeps believing, and the steady faith that keeps walking until his promise comes into view.